restream. I know it's been a while, and I know this is kind of different. It's been a while since I last did a live stream like this, so I'm gonna go over what I do. So I'm gonna start a new game real quick. We are going to be doing Turnabout Reminiscence, which is the fourth episode in Ace Attorney Investigations. It's one of my favorites, and let me just put this on pause real quick. So I'm gonna be reading over. I'll be reading the whole entire dialogue as everything goes through, and hopefully everything turns out as planned. Hang on, I'm trying to adjust here because my screen is being weird. Okay, let's hop in again. Okay. I won't read the parts that like scroll on their own, but I'll read everything else. I'll adjust my stuff while this does that. Hang on, I'll move this down a little bit. Ooh, sorry guys. There we go. I was gonna show both screens for this because both screens are very important to this game, but it didn't work. Okay. There. That. Okay. Actually, can I get to the chats on the amino? Do the amino? I think I can. Hang on, guys. I'm doing something for a friend through amino. Oh. Here we go. Hey, Zoe. It's almost time for me to enter the courtroom. And so it is that my first assignment as a prosecutor will be as a replacement for a prosecutor who has been accused by the defendant. Edgeworth. There he is! Sir. Snappy boy himself. Okay, anyway. Oops. Why is it hers though? Okay, whatever. I'm ending a dog with his persona. Have you read over all of the documents regarding this trial? Yes, sir. I've memorized everything there is to know. Very good. The paperwork for the prosecutor's substitution is just about complete. Edgeworth, always bear in mind that as your mentor, I am Manfred von Karma. Looks up nothing short of perfection. Yeah, shut up, we know. I understand, sir. To have the chance to stand in court at such an early stage in my career, I am honored and proud. As I have watched over your studies, I am giving you this very rare chance. Prove yourself. Crush the defendant's pathetic lies into oblivion. Yes, sir! Hang on. I'm logging into Amino real quick because I need to. As such, a legendary prosecutor is watching over and judging my performance. Hi, 101 Husky. I have to be perfect in every way. Okay, just a second. See, the bottom screen here is very important because you can move around and stuff. Like, oh my god, you can walk. Okay, hang on. Okay. I didn't bring the screen all the way up. My bad. Today's trial should have ended in just 1 minute, because the defendant was picked up by the security camera, correct? Exactly. Hang on. Let me know if you guys can't hear me, because I'm pretty quiet right now. I don't want to be like blowing out your guys' eardrums, but I don't want to be like at some point really quiet and you guys can't hear me. The kid, he only killed because he was instructed to do so. Even more outrageous is his claim that the case prosecutor, 𝙑𝙑𝙀, gave the order. Faraday is such a fool. He's been cornered by reynbow. Of Mr. 𝙑𝙑𝙀. He is a pathetic man who speaks nothing but nonsense. Nonsense? He once tried to explain to me a way of punishing those who cannot be brought to court. Those who cannot be brought to court. That is nonsense, for no man is above the law. Well, there are always a few exceptions. However, there is no reason to even deal with such individuals. The prosecutor is a guardian of the court, one with no obligation to outside matters. Thus, there is no reason to deal with such individuals. I see. Edgeworth, disgracing yourself as 𝙑𝙑𝙀 will not be forgiven. Have no fear, I will not let you down, sir. In place of the accused prosecutor 𝙑𝙑𝙀, I'll prove the defendant's guilt. Very good. I've secured an hour of recess for you to prepare just to do that. Show them all the power of von Karma. Okay. Hello. So, have you achieved a firm understanding of the case? Yes, sir, I have memorized everything that is written down in case files. Well then, explain the case to me. I want to see if you really know what you're talking about. Understood. An embassy. The victim, Mr. 𝙑𝙬𝙁, was a staff member at the embassy. The defendant in this case, Mr. Mackerel, was held for questioning the night of the incident as he was deemed suspicious. He was quickly placed under arrested for possession of the murder weapon gun. Furthermore, at the time of the murder, the great thief 𝙎𝙁𝙁 had successfully infiltrated the 𝙬╗ embassy as well. At first, Corel claimed that he himself was 𝙎𝙁𝙁, but that he did not kill 𝙑𝙬𝙁. Why is everybody coming and leaving? This is actually kind of sad. Anyway, I wonder what he expected to gain from such a desperate lie. It's possible that he wants to go down well in the spotlight, if he's found guilty. There truly is no limit to people's insanity? I don't know, but I digress. Continue, Edgeworth. Yes, sir. During the trial, the prosecution presented the security footage that captured the murder. There's dog hair all over my screen. The footage clearly showed Mr. 𝙑 as the murderer. The act of Mr. 𝙑 firing the gun could be clearly seen from the visitor's gallery. Upon seeing that, the defendant retracted his statement and admitted to the murder. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to adjust my screen, I'm sorry. I did it because I was told to, by the real 𝙎𝙁𝙁, 𝙑𝙑𝙀. That sounds about right. However, you've forgotten one thing. While this may appear to simply be the murder of a 𝙬╗ embassy staff member, people are actually referring to it as the second KG8 incident. The second KG8 incident? I'm very sorry, sir. I fear I failed to study hard enough. Well, even among the police, it's information that only a select few are privy to. I don't even know what that means. Too many weird words. Okay, anyway. Could you please enlighten me, sir? Yeah, sir. What do you mean by the second KG8 incident? In order for me to tell you that, you must first learn about the original case. Take a look at these documents. This is a 3-year-old newspaper. You have heard of the Amano Group scandal before, right? Or correct? Amano Group's director was arrested under suspicion of smuggling. Correct. CCU was an employee of the Amano Group and the sole witness to the smuggling operation. It was she who brought the crime to light. However, Ms. Yu was silenced before she could testify in court. Wasn't a 𝙬╗ embassy staff member arrested for the murder? Why is everybody leaving? Nobody likes me anymore. Yes, a ꙍ𝙁𝘋𝑗𝑛 by the name of Manny Kochin was the suspect. However, due to lack of evidence, the case went unresolved. Trying to advertise the stream again. Ha! If only I was in charge of the case, I would have done everything in my power to prove his guilt. To make sure that all criminals are found guilty, my mentor really is dedicated. Faraday was the prosecutor on the case then, and he was as pathetic as ever. Mr. Faraday was in charge of the KG8 incident as well? That's right. And now, once again, the victim of the case you are currently assigned to. What has happened so far? Not much crazy. It's just, we're just talking to him, nothing saying. They went over what the case was about and all of that. That's all you really missed. Was someone who was scheduled to testify against that smuggling organization. And just like last time, the victim was murdered right before he was to testify. You're catching on. The victim was murdered just before his day in court against the smuggling organization. Events are occurring almost exactly the same way as they did in the KG8 incident. So that's why it is being called the second KG8 incident? Yes. Yet there is one difference between the two incidents. What would that be? The so-called noble thief that is sending everyone into an uproar. The great thief 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁. 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁. I'd better find out more. If it is true that the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 showed up at the Kodopian embassy, what could he or she have done I give up. No doubt to steal any suspicious accounting record. Got hair in my mouth. Fantastic. Since the item that the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 stole from there was sent to the police. What was it that the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 is getting the top secret treatment? Still, I find it very ironic. By returning the stolen item to the police, it was proof positive that the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 had infiltrated the embassy on the same day the staff member was killed. Criminals have a way of incriminating themselves, wouldn't you say? That would have to be the first time the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 had left evidence behind, correct? Yes, indeed. If you wish to learn more about the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁, then I suggest you ask Faraday. Mr. Faraday, he happens to be the prosecutor in charge of the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 case as well. He's the prosecutor in charge of both KG8 incident and the 𝙎𝙬𝙁𝙁 case. Mr. Faraday really has a lot on his plate. Love her. What is it, little girl? You're scary, mister. True! Did you need something? I want to trade these coins with you. A fist full of dimes, quarters, and pennies. But it looks like you've exactly $1. Is this what you want? Thanks! That's exactly what I needed. What a cutie, I love her. Can that child be here to watch the trial? How disrespectful for a child like that to be running around inside the courthouse. Not even people in real life. I'm sorry, but no, nobody really does. Like, I'm serious. You should hear my dad complaining about it too. But even he's not even in it. But he's just like, people are so... Okay, whatever. The paperwork for prosecutor substitution is complete. Why you? Do you even know how much time there is left before the trial resumes? I'm so sorry. I can have you mopping up this courthouse instead of protecting it in an instant. Oh, it's no bother, sir. Not being completely prepared could prove to be a perfect handicap for me. A proud one you are. You'd better collect the evidence from Faraday and prepare yourself. It's time for your debut, Edgeworth. Let's go! Oh. Ow. Yeah, my nails are ugly, I'm sorry. Where'd my ponytail holder go? I need to put my hair back up. seriously, this is getting in my way. Where did I put it? 1 second, guys. I know where I put it, I just had to go get it. This isn't centered anymore. There. Got it. Ugh. Just what is going on? Why isn't Faraday here yet? How is it possible that the defense is not prepared yet either? Because to be honest with you, nobody is trying. I forgot what I was gonna say, never mind. Bailiff, where is Mr. Faraday? I'm not sure, I wasn't really paying attention. You must be the one Mr. Von Karma recommended. Look at them. I hear this will be your first trial. I look forward to seeing how you perform. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson. Sir, it looks like the trial is about to resume. However, yes, it will be all but impossible to prove the witness a liar. Without the evidence from Faraday. What is that blasted buffoon up to? Honestly, the way he speaks sounds exactly like I would if I wasn't born in this century. Just kidding, in like this decade even. It's an emergency, sirs. Oh my god. Oh boy. Silence. And kill you? Just kidding. It shall renew. Please. Wait. You have to listen to me. There's an emergency. Defendant lobby number 2, Mr. Faraday and the defendant. The two of them, they're both dead, Your Honor. What? What? Stay back. Hey, I know who this is. No one's allowed at the crime scene, period. Just who does this oddball think he is? This has become quite the hotspot. Isn't she Mr. Mill's defense attorney? Hey, you! No running in the hallway, pal! And who are you to tell me what to do? I'll never find out what's going on like this. It's time for some civil discourse. Okay. Let's talk to him. I got really close. Excuse me, but who are you? Detective 𝙬𝙬𝘁. Almost said. I was informed of the situation and came as quickly as possible. So how did you arrive and inspect the body before me? Faraday requested for me to testify in the trial. Plain and simple. Mr. Faraday requested that you be here? I've already contacted HQ about the situation. I've got nothing to say to you, kid. Kid! And Mr. Faraday is substitute today's trial. Therefore, I insist that you update me on the situation. I can't back down here. I have a right to know. Do I need to teach you a thing or two about how to talk to adults, kid? I mean, okay, he's like, what, 20? Something like that. But, still. Calm down. Stop threatening me. Is he going for his gun? No. It's just a mirror. How dare he trick me like that? Faraday was stabbed to death with some kind of blade, and he had a gun in his hand. The other man, Mr. Mackerel, was shot and killed. He was found holding a bloody knife in his hand. Was there anyone else who went to defendant lobby number 2? Oh, I have a freaking splinter in my foot, and I haven't taken care of it. But it, like, hurts really bad. I think, anyway. I don't think I have one, but I feel like there's one in my foot. It actually really hurts. Anyway. Yeah, that big log over there. His name's Gumshoe. He was in charge of guarding the place. He's claiming that no one else entered the room. If that's the case, then They must have killed each other, correct? Maybe. Such impudence. Oh my God, really testing my patience. Why was I not informed that you were going to testify in court? Homicides aren't my only gig. The 𝙎𝙬𝘃 case is also one of my assignments. So you were called upon to comment on the 𝙎𝙬𝘃's characteristics in order to assess if Mr. Faraday really was the 𝙎𝙬𝘃 or not? Well, looks like you just might have a brain after all in that head of yours, son. Son, I'm not your son. Why is that me? Okay. Especially at a time like this. I apologize for not introducing myself and for bothering you. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I was to take Mr. Faraday's place in court. Edgeworth, huh? Never heard of you. So Faraday's substitute is a newbie, huh? I'll have you add that I studied under my friend von Karma. Do not take me for some naive novice. Don't take me for some naive novice. So you're a student of von Karma. I should have. I was closer to a dead giveaway. Stop right there. These are the garments of one who gallantly presents the facts. Thanks for the great laugh, but try not to make me laugh so much, okay? Hang on. I legit cannot stop laughing now. Okay, we're good. And if you're telling the truth, then we are about to go ahead in court. But of course, I've heard much about you, Ms. Yu. But of course, I have heard much about you. You're a regular Shakespeare. Did I say something funny? I'd like you to update me on the situation. I don't really know anything. Why don't you try talking to those detectives over there? If that's the case, then why are you? What's so funny? It's just that the way you speak is so tactless. The person I was going against in court was until a little while ago was murdered. It's not like I could go back into the courtroom pretending as though nothing happened. That's a good point. I apologize for asking such an insensitive question. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, we're done here. Now we're gonna go talk. And you are... Ooh, me? Hey, pal. It's common courtesy to tell someone your name first before asking theirs. Point taken. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a district prosecutor. Prosecutor? I've never seen a prosecutor as young as you, pal. I've told your name. Now would you mind telling me yours? Detective 𝙎𝙬𝘃, and just recently I achieved my dream of becoming a detective. Wasn't a dream. It's what I was born to do. Wait, maybe I should check and make sure I'm not really in some crazy dream first. This detective is entirely too excited to be at a murder scene. Why is that me? Just kidding. So, Detective 𝙎𝙬𝘃, would you mind telling me what you know about the incident? You to fill me in on what you know. Wait, just a second. I need to Google that word. That was a weird word. Okay, that's what I thought, but I had to just double check. I keep opening. Wow, you're a proud one for such a youngster, aren't you? Well, anyway, Detective Bad is the one in charge, so you're just gonna have to ask him for all the details, okay? We already did. As for me, I was guarding the door to defendant lobby number 2. So you were the guard detail. Did you notice anything strange while you were on duty? Well, I freaked out when I heard a gunshot and then I froze. You're a detective and a measly gunshot scared you that much? Yo, same. Just kidding. I'm not a detective though. I mean... I'm nervous. And again, I can hardly claim to not know what it's like to hear one at close range. Then Detective Bad came running to the scene. We went into lobby number 2 together, and both men were lying there dead. Is that everything? Yeah, that's it. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Other than the gunshot, he didn't hear hear a single sound of commotion. Ms. Yu, there's someone here who wishes to... Sorry, my stylus is in the way. Who is it? A Korean embassy staff member by the name of Manny Kochin. What's going on? Detective Bad Ms. Yu's moods just changed all of a sudden. Wait a second. Was that Manny Kochin? I'll be right there. Hey, something right. Like, I'm not... I don't think I'm here. I should ask my mom to bring me something. It's okay, I don't really care to. It's nice to see you again, Ms. Yu. Why are you here? I have no desire to ever see you again. Now. Actually, would you mind stepping outside for a brief chat? Fine, let's go. Man of the hour. Bad. 𝙑𝙑𝘆, it's been a long time. I knew you would show up. I want to see something. Ouchie. Anyway, you usually do when the Yakuza is involved, and I see this case is no exception. Do you know Detective Bad, sir? Yes, he's like an old bloodhound that never leaves the scene of a crime. If only he would get a promotion and move on. It's the crime scene where a detective is most useful and effective. It's not like I don't know that. Moving on though, Bad. The man that I just passed by. Was he not the suspect from the KG8 incident? So I was right. Just what is that man doing wandering around here? That 𝙬𝙁. I can't believe he let such an easy catch get away, imbecile. I would have proved his guilt in 3 minutes. 𝙑𝙑𝘆, I think you've said enough for now. It's in poor taste to speak like that about the departed. Very well. Back on topic, I'm placing Edgeworth in charge of the investigation here. It's my girl. There she is. Oh my god. Okay, but can I say right now, I really want her haircut in this. Like, I'm just saying. I'm probably going to get my haircut like that too. Anyway, Papa, how can you place him in charge? Franziska, what are you doing here? I'm here for summer vacation. What else? Me though? Franziska 𝙑𝙑𝘆, so she is here on vacation from Germany. She is the daughter of Manager 𝙑𝙑𝘆 and a student of his, who is also junior to me. You're the one who's junior to me, and don't you forget it! Oh my god. Why do I relate? You're not conveniently avoiding the bar examination, are you? If you were able to pass, then I'll have absolutely no trouble at all. Wait a second. Is she in here yet? Dang it, no. I'll never allow myself to lose to you. Never! Why does she always have to be this competitive? Anyway, Papa, are you really assigning Miles Edgeworth to cover the case? Yes, I am. Why do you ask? Well, you know, I'm close to becoming a prosecutor myself. And I am 100% confident that I can do a better job than him. That's just like Franziska. She has no problem bad-mouthing us all right. Bad. Yeah. These two will be conducting the investigation. What? You want me to let both of these get loose on the crime scene? Ha! This is a perfect opportunity for them to work on their prosecutorial skills. That is a long word. Okay. A crime scene is not a place for children to be messing around in. I'm the one with the authority over this crime scene, Bad, and I will not tolerate complaining. Edgeworth, Franziska, I leave this case to the two of you. Understood, sir. Yes, Papa. I'll go take care of the paperwork now. Remember, I'll accept nothing but a perfect report from the both of you. Do not disappoint me. Oh my god, it's really helping because I told you guys at the beginning of this, I'm getting a dog with his persona. And so playing this case is going to help me a lot. That's all of them. Because I have all three. Well, we'll be getting the last one, but I have all three of these guys, so. Miles Edgeworth, it's been quite some time, Franziska. This will be the perfect chance for us to see which of us is truly worthy of the 𝙑𝙑𝘆 name. I mean, technically. kill you to at least say hello. Long time no see. Very good. Just because you're executed first doesn't mean you can act all proud. She hasn't changed a bit. Miles Edgeworth, as I was saying, we shall see which one of us is worthy of the von Karma name. For crying out loud, I've been reduced to a babysitter. It looks like Mr. Von Karma was successful in convincing the detective. That's just like him, he never fails. Now, I'd appreciate it if you could quickly run me through the facts, Detective Bad. You're better off checking things out on your own. Very well. Sorry. The water bottle next to me is like empty. Seems like getting help from Detective Bad will be a most arduous task. Let's just... Yes. I really have to empty out my garbage can. It is way too full at this point. Oh well. I can't do it now. Those two are kind of the most iconic. So... I thought about putting 2 other ones in there, but then it'd get too crowded and too busy, so I decided not to. So, I might switch it around though every now and then though. I think that actually, you make a good point. I think I have an idea now, thank you. It's the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously. Let's try that again. It's the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously. Miles Edgeworth, you shouldn't listen to someone until they are finished talking. What are you talking about? I'll only say it one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. A competition. The person that figures out the truth first wins. So, the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name? Exactly. I don't care that you became a prosecutor before me. I simply refuse to hear any more foolish things come from your foolishly foolish mouth. Fine, whatever makes you happy. Can I take that as you accept my challenge? Once again, whatever makes you happy. Well then, let's begin the investigations, shall we? I'm going to find the perfect evidence and prettily present it like a professional I am. Competing to discover the truth behind a crime. Now, how delightfully childish. Let's go. Ow. Hang on. Hello. Kid? Ha! Serves you right, Miles. He just called you a kid. I said kids, kid. How dare you call me a cow? I'll do what I please. And I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene. Hey, big guy. You're gonna watch over these two. Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir. Now, do what I say from now on, kids, okay? You'd better not get in our way, Scruffy. She's always called him that. I love it. You'll feel the bite of my whip if you do. Eek! Then you, prosecutor boy. Let's get your investigation started already, alright? Great. Now, even that detective is treating me like a child. Alright, it's time to get investigating. Get a move on, prosecutor boy. My name is Miles Edgeworth. And if you were to call me prosecutor boy one more time, it will be my duty as a prosecutor to look into your monthly salary. What? And what would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was? That's up to you now, isn't it? Really? Sounds good, pal. You're so naive. Detective Bad, may I have a word with you? What is it? It appears that both a knife and a gun were used as murder weapons. Yeah, it does. That leads us to our first question in the investigation. Where did the men acquire the weapons? The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It was a piece of evidence that was presented in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Ethiopian embassy staff member. But I never heard anything about the knife. Just a second. Mr. Rowe was being held by the police. There's no way he could have brought it in. Which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well. Could it have been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented? But then why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what if it's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of the It's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence. He could have then brought it out and attacked Mr. 𝙬𝙁 with it. Oh. Sorry, I'm looking at how long this is. I'm going to cry. Huh, maybe you've got a brain after all, kid. Is he going to treat me like a child forever? It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. 𝙬𝙁 first, who then counterattacked. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw from a scene like this. Not yet. I feel that it's much too early to be drawing conclusions already. I must first find conclusive evidence so as to ensure the honor of the von Karma name. Okay, let's see. We're going to go ahead and we're going to examine this table because this table is... There are some plastic bags stacked up on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of a disturbance. Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy. Ooh, I can't wait to use that logic button. Maybe they were super quiet in their scuffle? After all, I didn't hear anything from out in the hallway, you know? Maybe the plastic bag scattered on the floor are throwing us off. Look, guys, he can walk! The window is open and there's a fresh flowery something here. The flower. Oh my god, my voice does that do something weird. The flowers in the garden down there are so gross and ghastly. Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change? Well, at least there's no way someone escaped through this window, pal. They won't wake up and fall the flowers after I fall from the 3rd floor. Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there are also iron bars on the windows? Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get through these windows, right? They thought of everything when they were destroying this courthouse. Very nice. Yeah, we don't need more people escaping. Okay. Whoa! What is it, Detective? My TR is so tiny compared to this one, pal. Then perhaps you should purchase a more normal size television like this one. Ooh, let me see here. Wow, this thing is huge! Me too. What? Way too noisy! You're the noisy one, Scruffy. Me? Don't touch it. You'll get your fingerprints all over it. But I didn't touch it! Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. Foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on. Fun. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Hi. Okay. I didn't mean to talk to her. I meant to examine this. It looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of Mr. 𝙬𝙁. At first glance, it seems they must have killed each other. However, using logic, the only logical... What was it uppers for? My detective instinct just hit me real hard. It was Mr. 𝙬𝙁 that fell first. See, you don't need a detective instinct for that. It's common sense. But I suppose we won't know much more than that until after I examine the bodies. I won't rest until I've infected every suspicious looking I love the music for this. Why are there plastic bags scattered all around? I'm just catching up on Google Plus. Sorry, guys. Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal. I know that much, Detective. You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal? Normally, I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's this guy... Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between these two men? Looks like Mr. Faraday died while holding the gun in his right hand. So he shot Mr. 𝙬𝙁 and then fell on top of him while still gripping onto the gun? I guess that does seem kind of strange, huh? I mean, why would Mr. Faraday know how to fire a gun? It's not exactly rocket science, even I know how to pull a trigger. Although I doubt I'll ever need to use one. I hope I never have to fire a gun either, pal. But it sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hands. It appears that the police's screening procedures need a thorough review. Anyway, I should jot down some notes about the and go to Mr. Faraday's hand. I heard my dog running down the hallway and I thought he was about to burst in my room and I'd be like, oh, hi. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna do that. Looks like Mr. Rel died with a knife in his hand. There's some blood stuck on it. Then he must have used this as a weapon. Yep, no doubt about it. Was Mr. Faraday carrying this on his personage? But did he bring this as a piece of evidence for the trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should have got notes down about it. Oh, it's very special. His hand is all black down here, see? I wonder what it could be. If you look closely, this blotching pattern resembles an ink stain. An ink stain? Yes, I usually get ink on my own handwriting as my feather pen. A feather pen? I've never seen one before. Sure you aren't just making it up, pal? Mr. Rel's cause of death was from being shot, correct? That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down. Death is bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth. Are you sure they were trying to hide something? I can't. Yeah, I believe an examination of the body is vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you? I suppose you do have a point. Well, hurry up and get on with it. Labby? Yes, sir. We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir. And there you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not. What? Investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective, so don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella, turn over the bodies for me, will you? Okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir. 𝙬𝙬, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Okay. I won't rest until I've inspected every specific thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that over and over again. Okay. There's something in his breast pocket. It's a fountain pen. A fountain pen. I said that really weird. Hey, no, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bed is always telling me, you should always write your name on everything you own. Yes, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual. Shot in the chest. It takes some guts to fire a gun in the courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet. There aren't any burn marks on his clothes. That must mean... Wait, burn marks? A round grows very hot as it is discharged from a firearm. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. Ergo, Mr. Rel must have at least been shot from at least a yard or two away. You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal. Apparently, this detective has much common knowledge. Wow! Wow, Capcom, you should really pay on your localization stuff. Anyway, apparently this detective has as much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial. Okay. There's a knife wound in his chest here, see? I wonder if the wound matches the one knife Mr. Rel is holding. Labby? Yes, sir. Verifying now, sir. Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce that the knife Mr. Rel is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday. Let us now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out for today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Rel and fired. However, Mr. Rel managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then the two men fell together where they stood. That is my theory, in any case. What a crazy way to go. Still, something about that explanation just doesn't seem right. I believe I know from a grasp on what happened here. Oh, yay. We're gonna go into logic mode now. Let's go ahead and plop this down here. You guys can see so much better down here. Okay. I'm going to bed. Back up here. That splotch in Mr. Faraday's hand. I wonder if it might be the ink from his fountain pen. Ooh, let's ask the lab guy. Detective 𝙬𝙬, I confirm that the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from his fountain pen. I see. Good work. You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life. Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand. I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our case as well. Okay, if you say so, pal. Ow, my shoulders hurt. Okay, let's go back down here. Go ahead and connect. There's a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table, and yet a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during a struggle, in which case might there not be another explanation as to how they got there? Another reason? I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow. Eek! Please get that blood away from me, pal! Detective 𝙬𝙬𝘍, whose blood is on this bag? Hold on, let me ask the lab guy. Alright, please hurry. I don't know, let me ask the lab guy. Me, I'm that lab guy. I'm actually, that's what I'm working towards. Anyway, wait till you get a load of this, pal. It's Mr. Faraday's. Oh, and the technician said they didn't find anything else on or in the bag either. It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence. Okay, if you say so, I leave it in your hand, pal. Ow. I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there's actually a contradiction that shows there is another possibility. No way, pal, really? I suppose I just have to show you the conflict in this crime scene. I won't rest until I yep, okay, we will do that. Okay, we're going to go ahead, I'm gonna scroll down here. Oh! Eureka! I gotta love it. Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed. And yet, the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find it odd that the left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold the gun in his right hand? That, lady and gentlemen, ladies, maybe? Okay, wait, no, lady, because that's just one. Okay, never mind. It's the great contradiction haunting the crime scene. Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kind of strange. No, I got it. I figured it out. Lady. But how could something like that happen? The facts add up to one conclusion and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died. Someone else? Plastic bags scattered on the floor and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person of vile intent who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Woo! Here's the autopsy report. It is probable that Mr. Wells survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. That hurt. It looks like everything we now know. Ow! It looks like we now know everything we need to know about this case. Why isn't the chat refreshing? Are you sure we know everything? Of course, the incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage for being accused. Sorry, a car driving by. And they tried to kill the defendant. Hang on. But the defendant fought back and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. There's absolutely no margin for doubt. Pardon me. Do you really believe this to be the truth? Ha! Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you, that you don't want to believe it's true? That's alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is. Don't worry, I will. Let's go! Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. 𝙬 survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. 𝙬. And Mr. 𝙬, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case. I don't know why I made her voice so high-pitched. I don't know, I don't like it either. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that he's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory. I love that they voiced him for this game entirely. It's so perfect. Anyways. So you believe that the dying Mr. 𝙬 stole the knife from Mr. Faraday? Mr. 𝙬 became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So the two men struggled. And in the end, Mr. 𝙬 was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The domestic condition in this room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound. Can you really say that it's perfect? What are you insinuating? That's a big word for a 15-year-old. It's a big word for a 15-year-old. Anyway, nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise. If you could append that statement to testimony, fine. I knew that was voiced, but... If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Ha! You place too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How, then, did Mr. 𝙬 get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right here in lobby number 2. It is not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. 𝙬 saw a chance and took it out at some point. So, what you're saying is this. Mr. 𝙬 took a chance when he saw the opportunity, and then he took the knife from the bag. And then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. 𝙬 after being stabbed? Isn't there something strange in Franziska's statement just now? Wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, really? Your face. It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. 𝙬 after being stabbed. Oh, I love freaking yes. Oops. According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have done it after that. Ooh, you got me. But of course. Oh, then, the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Bell attacked first, Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rel. Okay, but the lead motive in this freaking song is the Great Revival, and it makes me happy. Therefore, Mr. Rel must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Franziska. I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible, before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. I'm naive for you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Franziska, you've still got a ways to go. What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic? Mr. Faraday died instantly, and the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here, in this crime scene, is the order the bodies fell. Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Back. Hang on. I'm responding to an amino message because I can do it on my computer. I need to get the amino up on my computer just to make it a little bit easier, but whatever. Because I have Windows 10 and Windows 10 has that Windows Store or whatever. Anyways, upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot, and Mr. Rel died thereafter. If that's the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which their bodies are piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rel's. Therefore, Mr. Rel must have died before Mr. Faraday. Impossible! Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene solves this. No! Not so fast, Miles Edgeworth. What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box, and that it's even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure bounced back quickly. An explanation won't be enough to this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rel's. Their two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. It really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. I just know that Franziska's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction. Sorry. Yeah. Ow, I hurt my nose when I did that. What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday had the two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. Rel while holding both the knife and revolver, and then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Rel grabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. Hang on. Hang on, I'm not confused. 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm trying to find something out for a friend, and now she's telling me something else, and anyway, that is how Mr. Will and wound up with the bottom. That's how Mr. Will wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, that's more than possible. Yes, it's possible, but well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got. Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you just said to your testimony. I don't see any point to that, but as you please. So you believe they kill each other at close range? Sorry, that's impossible. Just as it is written in the crime scene notes. The firing of the handgun did not Mr. Will's clothes. Therefore, Mr. Bell and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards. Yes, this is by far the greatest contradiction. The 2 bodies are piled up on each other, yet the guns fired from a distance. And there being no chance that Mr. Rell moved that far after being shot, that leaves only one possible explanation. What a completely foolish line of foolish. If I'm not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who? Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus, there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here. It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. And set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. The third person is the real culprit. Now I got a roleplay to respond to. Yay. Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing. I love this music anyway, so I'm just gonna let it go on. Okay. Evidence, correct? Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. Exactly. Everything you said up to now is something I started playing out and you hadn't played that already. However, this is where the real test begins. Can you prove that there was a third person involved in the crime? Of course. The third person was truly here. That fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. The proof. I'll present it and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. What is the piece of evidence that proves there is a third person involved? The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and a plastic bag with his blood on it. These two items point to the presence of a third person. How so? Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep out of people's struggle. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground. Meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment, there is a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch any blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. And by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the two, they were able to conceal their presence. Sorry, that was bad. I hate myself for that. We only have 2 more arguments to go through, and then I'll be done for the day. Woo! Looks like we've still got a long way to go in this investigation. Yes. Oh, it's her. Gross. Her objection is so weird. What the heck's up with you, pal? Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest. What? What's the meaning of this? Yeah! Ha! Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates. Don't you dare. That detective was there standing in front of the door the entire time, but I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie. Ms. Yu, I ask that you please explain that last statement. I'll let His Honor explain it himself. I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time where there was no one in the hallway. What? Seems too bad. I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie? Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday? No! Of course not, sir! It would appear that the one who said this will claim to not the detective, which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles. I was in this hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Was that statement really a lie? Detective Gumshoe, you're now suspected in the murder of 2 men. Now spit out the truth, so help me. I haven't lied to anyone, sir, honest. I really was there in the hallway the whole time. Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that is heading up this investigation. Am I not? Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy. All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Von Karma, after all. Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something. And what's that? Should I ask Detective Gumshoe about motive? Right, ask him about motive. I suppose the one thing I'd like clarified is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime. Motive, huh? Gumshoe? Not me, not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir. Is that a fact? You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe? That's lying. The more unnatural you act, the more suspicious you become. If you want a motive Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Could you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to flights of fancy because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation. You're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice. It was about a week ago. Sorry. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there super pale. Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit!" A brand new detective suddenly getting a salary cut. That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for a perfect explanation? You totally misunderstand me, pal. No matter how mad I get, I could never hold a grudge. Quiet. You can't trust anything, sir. There's nothing wrong with the motive proposed, per se, but there are some explanation. May not be so perfect at all. You call your explanation perfect. Is not too like you? Unfortunately for you, it's not just not up to my standards. Oh, so I do. Should I have objection? Alright, if you could clear this thing for me. I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. 𝙑𝙬. His motive for killing 𝙑𝙬? Like I would know. If there was no clear motive for both of the murders, then I doubt this incident would have occurred. 1, 2, 3. Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves? Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. I want to know who voiced you for this. Behind the voice actors. What? Can you please not get rid of that? Sorry. It makes me laugh. I didn't do anything and you're laughing away. I'm already laughing away. Wait, hang on. Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway. Oh? Would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation. Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight, or is that a requisite trick? all you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rell, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity and set up to look like they had killed each other. Evidence for this morning's case. Is there someone else? Just a second. Does she not have one? Oh, come on, man. She's gotta have one. I don't know where she is. Hang on. Find her voice after it. Once I know. Ugh. Oh well. I'm sure it's not even. Is it because you better not bring this person up? What do you mean? And a member of the 𝙬𝙁 Embassy staff, Mr. Manny Kovtun. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the 𝙬𝙁 Embassy staff, Mr. Rowe. And the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KG-8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that Mr. Kovtun has no reason at all to kill both of these men? Aha. Really? Is that rude? I don't. Whatever. Well, I suppose he might have a reason or two. You covered for me, pal. Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect, make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony, these are the only things I wish to hold. But I didn't do it! You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manny Kovtun for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out. You want to investigate Kovtun, you'd just be wasting your time. And why is that? Kovtun was up in the viewing gallery watching the trial. Or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived. Well, the only real suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe. I suppose so. Wait, come on, Detective Dad. You've got to believe me, sir. I really was in that hallway the whole time, sir. I never took a single step into this room, sir. Okay, then are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway? No, there was no one else, sir. So why should I believe he didn't do it? That is one incredibly foolish detective. Stand there right in front of a crime scene all by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt. Oh crap. I almost closed that and I would have to play this all over again and I would cry. I have to admit it's a bit strange. Most criminals would fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wanted to prove that he is innocent, you'd think he would at the very least offer up spaced out while on duty or something like that. Come on, come shoot, time for your interrogation. Detective Bad. Miles of birth, I will go ahead and report this to Papa. And that, as they say, is that. Right, everyone? You have fun. Bye. You too. Well, I suppose we should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh? Before we do miss you, there's something I'd like to speak with you about. What is it? It looked like they killed each other. If there's one thing I cannot forgive, it's desecration of the dead. I don't know if I said that right, but anyways. So, what did you want to ask me about? The KGA incident. The current case of the murdered Kodopian embassy staff member. I've heard that people have begun calling it the second KGA incident. Only among you law enforcement types. And what about it? I'd like for you to tell me everything you know about the original KG8 incident. I'm afraid I can't help you. I don't know anything beyond what was reported in the papers. No, I believe you know much more, since you are directly tied to the KG8 incident. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop with the false accusations. Baseless outbursts are useless, both inside and outside the courtroom, don't you know? I do, but I also know that I do have a leg to stand on here. Think you can stop making that ultra serious face in front of me? If you could please stop laughing for just 1 second. I'm not going to make any headway like this. I'm just going to have to show her exactly how related to the KGA incident she is. Ms. Yu, I believe that I have proof of your connection to the KGA incident. That file is your proof? Very well then. Why don't you tell me exactly how I'm related to the KGA incident? Victim. Your connection to the KG8 incident is through the victim. The victim's name is CCU. You will note that she has the same last name as you. Can you really still tell me, with a straight face, that you are not related to this case? Sorry, but we're not related. What? Just kidding. You asked that question with such a serious look on your face that I couldn't help but... Ms. Yu, I ask that you please tell me the truth. Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. As you guessed, as you guessed, the one who reported the smuggling activities of the Amano group was my sister, CCU, as I thought. And she was killed right at the impending trial by Manny Chen. But because he was tried once and was acquitted... Sorry. He gets to live out the rest of his cushy life completely carefree. All because of a lack of evidence. Now, I heard that the evidence to convict him did exist. What? I heard it from Mr. Faraday himself after Mr. Cochin's trial was over. Apparently a man in black made off with the most important piece of evidence. Then the evidence had been tampered with? Isn't it just like a criminal to do something like that? Ugh. So I got a tooth in the back of my mouth that's bothering me. They get chipped. Anyway, ow! Just poked myself in the face. The smuggling ring being run out of the Amano group by one of its secretaries. They bailed Mr. Cochin out. Turns out they were in league with each other all along. How big was that smuggling ring? Was it a large operation? I don't really know. Which is why I wanted to become the lead defense. On this case, people are calling the second KG8 incident. But I haven't learned anything new at all. I was probably expecting too much, I know. You mean you think this case has nothing to do with the smuggling ring? I don't know what to think. Why did Mr. Cochin want to meet with you earlier? Actually, he came to watch the trial. Apparently he only found out that I was the defense lawyer on this case after he'd arrived. He figured he should say hi, and one other thing. Looks like you couldn't resolve anything this time either. Too bad. What's that supposed to mean? Oh boy, stop with the scary face already. I'm fine, really. I gave him a good slap across the face. He talks about slapping him and she laughs so it's kind of creepy. But it's just as Mr. Bad said, he's not related to the double murder. I asked the random people in the gallery to claim that he was in their seat the entire time. How do I have 20% battery remaining? My phone is plugged in! Guys, I'm confused. At least we're almost done. Talk about cruel fate. Well, this is about all I know. Sorry. Guess there wasn't much help. That's not true. I'm sorry I made you recall such a painful time in your life. Edgeworth, you really are too serious for your own good. You really need to learn to relax. We wouldn't want you to die in stress, would we? Thank you for the advice, but there's no need to worry. I work in my own way, and I will catch this criminal in my own way as well. You'll see. Look at you with your game face on, ready to go. Hey, I'm making no such face. Did you know? Laughter is the best medicine, Edward. Don't you get tired of making such a serious face all the time? I'm charged with making sure that all the criminals in this world are found guilty. I have no need for laughter. There you go, making that face again. Oh well. I gotta get going. I still have a few loose ends I need to tie up. The KG8 incident and this murder investigation. It is my belief that these two cases are related to each other somehow. Plus, that Detective 𝙬𴜏, it's obvious he's lying even though the lie is hurting his chances. Clearly, the case is far from over. But whether or not that detective is the murderer should only be determined once I've completed my perfect investigation. Mr. Von Karma, I swear to uphold your honorable name, for my name is in Miles' interest. Alright, so that concludes it for the day. I know today is a little longer than normal. I got distracted, that's my only excuse. So, thank you guys for watching or coming. I know like literally nobody came and I'm sad about that, but you know what, it's okay. And I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.